everybody, welcome back to RGR Football on YouTube. This is Daniel Harms, and for those of you that aren't already, hit that sub button down right below the clip on the right side of the screen here, and that'll get you subscribed to the channel, the RGR Football channel, everything Ryan and I have done up to this point. You can come through, find any videos that you'd like. Also, right next to that's that bell notification, and that will get you up-to-date information and notifications on every video as it goes live. Everything that's going to premiere that day, and obviously the video when they go up to the site themselves will be notified to you. Don't forget to hit that like button. That really helps Ryan and I out, especially getting the channel out there with the Chiefs, everything, and it'll just pop up on people's YouTube pages. So that's really helpful. Make sure you hit that like button. And now the 53-man roster was finalized over the weekend. We know everyone that's going to be on the roster, and the practice squad has been filled out or is being filled out to this point. I know that from recording this a few days before it's getting premiered, I know that at least Fortson, Kalijah, Lipscomb, and Matt Moore and Gary Dieter all made the practice squad. So that's just all the information I have of that to right now. So we get to focus on week one. I can't really wait for this. I'm actually starting to bite my nails already because I'm getting more excited anxiety about it. And although we didn't get to see any preseason, this is going to be our first look in at what the Chiefs offense is going to be able to do. I can't tell you for any guesses of mine what Andy Reid's going to bring out for this first week, because he's always got some crazy plays that he brings out. But I think that going back through and looking at how the Chiefs were successful or even kind of struggled at times against the Texans in their first two battles last year is really fun to do. So what we're going to do is go ahead and just look at some of the nice, fun plays that we got to see from this Chiefs offense against the Texans. And obviously we're going to start with the most explosive play. Tyra Kill comes back in week 6 against the Texans and proceeds to just have an absolutely explosive day with this crazy going up and getting a touchdown. He's got a guy 20 yards off the ball on him, and he still is able to go downfield and then go up and get this football. And that's one of the things that makes Tyreek Hill who he is. He's so underrated. He's not the biggest guy in the field, but he's going to outwork most people at that catch point that he can. And even if he's got to eat up a 20-yard cushion in the matter of 3 seconds, he's going to do that. And I think that it helped getting Patrick out there trying to get him the football as much as he could early in this game, just to get him comfortable back in the offense. So, it goes to show you what a complete player he is and just how he's not going to get overworked by anybody. The Texans were pretty physical with Travis Kelce here in this first game. Obviously, this is one of those things that we all got really mad about, was this interception that didn't get taken off the board because of this obvious pass interference, holding, whatever you want to call it, just taking Kelce to the ground. That's something that they were not very successful in the second meeting, but this is one of those things that really got me frustrated. I know it probably got a lot of you frustrated too. This is really actually kind of fun to break down in the moment here. I'm going to go ahead and just stop it so you can see all of this open field over here to the left. And obviously Patrick knows that. You've got a defender here on the inside who's going to be one-on-one with Damian Williams. And this linebacker over here has got no shot at the play. And, Travis Kelce and Sammy Watkins are kind of both running a rub routes to help open up Damian Williams, because there's no shot as soon as they found this on the hip of Damian Williams, this was not going to be a touchdown. It's just a lot of fun to see how that they use the pre-snap reads and pre-snap motions to really open up players like Damian Williams or Travis Kelce or Tyra Kill, Sammy Watkins, all these guys, just to get these plays that really turn into easy touchdowns. And obviously that playoff game where that he scored, that was just incredible. And then we really can't mention the playoffs without mentioning playoff Sammy Watkins, who's just an incredible shower up in the playoffs. And there's just hasn't been a guy to this point for the Chiefs that has been able to do anything at this magnitude. He's just been so clutch for this team. The Super Bowl, he had obviously the great work route against Richard Sherman, the touchdown against the Titans. Then he only had two targets and 2 catches in this game against the Texans, but they were both 25-plus yard plays downfield, and he's just finding space. And then after this one, he's just making guys miss. I'm hoping that we're going to be able to see a little bit more of playoff Sammy in the regular season this year so that he gets to get some of those stats that he wants. I think that when we look at this offense, the ability against man coverage that the Texans have played a lot against the Chiefs last year in both games, it's just not a very fair thing to do with this offense with the speed they have at receiver and the quickness they have now at running back with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Then you add the ability that Travis Kelce has to always make himself get open against any coverage. He's always able to find soft spots in the defense against zone, and then against man coverage, he's able to manipulate guys to open up and move inside. And then he's always able to turn that slight turn back around is one of those things that he's so good at. He's able to read guys that are behind him in pursuit of him. He knows he's got a guy pretty much sprinting after him, so he can stop when he catches the ball, turn back inside, and get more yards upfield. It's so fun. And then I don't think we should really stop this whole montage without giving tribute to another Damian Williams running the football. But this really is more about Eric Fisher and his block here. He's going to pancake a guy and then roll over him. If you just watch him here in a second, this is one of the cooler parts that Fisher does. I do like this motioning out of the backfield and then the proceed pitch to the outside that frees up Damian Williams for a little more space, and then you get Demarcus Robinson out. But yeah, just look at Fisher get out there, and then he steamrolls him, and then he just rolls over the number 41 to get Damian just a little bit more space. And then you can see at the end of this play is actually kind of funny. He looks at Demarcus Robinson because he's like, wait, why didn't you just block the guy out? Like, come on, I could have taken this for a touchdown. They just didn't do a very good job blocking. So that's just a lot of fun to go through. Their offense had a lot of success early in the first matchup in 2019, and obviously a lot after the first couple of possessions in the playoffs, scoring 51 points. I mean, I think that the Chiefs' offense just struggled to get going in the first matchup. You've got a lot. Patrick Mahomes is injured. The offensive line's injured. The left side of the offensive line is Martinez Rankin and Cam Irving right here. You can see both of them here. And then they didn't have Sammy Watkins, so they were able to double Tyra Kill, and then they were being physical with Travis Kelce, which is something that we just mentioned. But if you can tell that the game plan here for the Texans was to take advantage of the injuries the Chiefs had in terms of inexperience on the offensive line. Here they're going to bring 55 in a blitz, and that's going to open up nothing. Really, you have to get the ball up pretty quickly, and it's one of those areas, like I was just talking about, the inexperience of some of this. And you see, McCoy is supposed to be chipping on J.J. Watt, and then he stays wide to force Martinez Rankin to come out and get him, and that's going to open up this giant hole for 55, the blitzer, to come in and get to Mahomes. And obviously, you see Travis Kelce here at the top of his route, and he's being bodied up and unable to get free. And that's something that the Texans found to working in great success for themselves. They were able to be physical with Travis Kelce and a lot of the other receivers in their man coverage. That the Chiefs really struggled earlier in the season last year with physicality on at the wide receiver position. And Demarcus Robinson, even Byron Pringle and Sammy Watkins at times were not able to really get free of that man coverage that were more physical. You saw it in the Lions game, even though they still put up a bunch of points, it was really more of Mahomes finding ways to make things happen, which he's so good at. And then, this game, they were so physical with Travis Kelce. Multiple times there should have been holding penalties, and that there wasn't. So it's a little frustrating sometimes. Obviously, you're watching at home and you see some of these plays. We just saw the one earlier where there should have been a flag on that interception. So I think that going into week one, they may try to take some of that same edge to them. They might try a little bit more of those blitz pickups and stuff like that, those blitzes and things like that, just to try to get more the Chiefs' offense off their game. It's going to be interesting to see, like I said, because I don't know what Andy Reid's going to do offensively, but I think that they're still going to play a lot of man coverage against the Chiefs, and which just isn't good. They don't have the play style to do that. They're not the Patriots. They don't have those lockdown corners, especially against a guy like Travis Kelce we're going to see here. This is just one of those absolutely incredible routes that Travis has always been able to do, and you can see that this double move, and then he's going to get held right here on his hip. And one of the things that he's able to do in this route is you're going to see him lean into the defender. He's going to create that contact inside, and then he's going to, right there, he's going to release to the outside. Typically, when you see a receiver releasing to the inside to create that contact, they want to get inside to release outside. So Kelce knows that if he can get clear to the outside and force that defender to start to run sideline to sideline with him and make him go faster, then he's willing to do, because he thinks it's going to be an out route. And he can then go upfield and force this defender into really bad positioning, because this would have been near a touchdown had Travis Kelce not been held. And he's able to create such different opportunities against players and everything like that with his nuanced route running and knowing his opponent. Right now he's up against a corner. I think it's Lonnie Johnson Jr. He's either a rookie or a second-year player. Doesn't have that experience that Travis Kelce has, so he's able to manipulate what defenders typically see out of this creating contact inside to go outside, and then he goes up the field. So it's going to be one of the bigger matchups, I think, is finding the Texans trying to find a way to stop Travis Kelce. And I think that he's going to be, again, a huge part of the game plan for this week. And if he's not essentially getting all the targets, he's going to be creating a lot of what we call gravity from the defense, attention on him, because he destroyed him in the playoffs so badly. And, this is a really fun play from the first game they had in week 6 against them. And they're going to do a good job of finding Damien Williams on this screen pass, and then walling off the defense and allowing him in space to get into the end zone. And I want to show you just slightly here what I'm talking about, how cool this is. Because you see Damien Williams on the left side of the offensive line. And if you draw a line from, Austin Ryder upfield, you can kind of shade this safety in with him as well if you want to. You've got 4 defenders, and then you have this deep safety he's on this side of the field. So you have 4 defenders, and then you've got 7 on the opposite side. That's why you have the 3 receivers out here. This is how they create some of these plays. They're even going to have, Damien Williams, who's going to take this fake handoff here. Not really a fake handoff. He just comes in like it's a fake handoff, and then you've got Kelce out here already starting to block. Then you can get all these offensive linemen out here and force the defensive linemen upfield. You've already got deep routes out here. The safety's trying to figure out what's going on because he's in a pickle. If you've got 3 receivers out here that may need help, one-on-one coverage, and then they're able to create angles right here, because these 2 guys that finally realize it as a screen aren't going to be able to get to the Damien Williams. It's just not going to happen. He's got too much speed, and you've got Travis Kelce out here with this one man by himself, just pretty much running around doing whatever he's got to do to keep him occupied. Safety realizes that it is a screen, but look at all this space around Damien Williams. He's got so much room to maneuver. And this is something I think hopefully we're going to see a little more of this year too with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. His ability to use his quickness is going to be something I think the Chiefs can definitely take advantage of. Damien's got that burst and the speed to do it and like that, but they both can operate well in short area in terms of getting guys to miss in open space. And they're going to be able to use his route running ability and an ability to just burst through holes and make guys miss in the open field, that kind of thing. His spin move is electric. So I think that this is something that they may look to do a little bit differently in terms of still using the screen game, but trying to be more effective with it. Not the exact same formation or anything like that. So I think that Clyde's going to have fun in this offense, and in this first game of the season, it's hard for a defense to plan for a rookie running back, especially when you've never seen him, regardless if you've seen his college tape. So I think that he could have a pretty big game against this defense, especially against man coverage, linebackers, one-on-one. Now we're going to go into something that is just fun to watch, because Tyra Kill is one of the most incredible athletes in the NFL. And this doesn't have anything to do with offensive formation, anything like that. They're still playing against that man coverage. And it's just so much fun to watch him maneuver with the ball in his hands, because this ball is going to go to the ground here. You're going to see it. I want to do it slow motion so you can see every second of it. He creates that separation, but then look at him. He's like moonwalking like Michael Jackson out there, moving up from the bottom of from the ground back up to his feet before the defender closes on him. That's one of the more impressive things that I've seen. Obviously, you've got momentum going one way, and then you're able to take your body and just go the exact opposite way with it. And that's one thing you can't account for. And I think that Tyra Kill's ability to have this elite athleticism, we saw in that first clip in the montage, him being able to go up and get balls that most guys his size can't get. And then this incredible ability to know he's got, 2, maybe 2.5 seconds before the defender closes on him so that he can get that ball, slide, get back up, and then start getting upfield. So when they begin to start to get to Travis Kelce, I think that this bodes well for Tyra Kill, even if they're seeing some shaded coverage, maybe start using him a bit more in, his orbit motions, getting him out in space. They're going to definitely work with him. They're going to see a lot of off coverage just because he's so fast. So they're going to get him the ball in those short areas, and then they're going to allow him to do this and make things work in 10, 15 yards where he's able to get the ball in his hands and just be the star he is. It's just so much fun to watch him with the ball. And I just wanted to show you guys how this incredible feat of athleticism that he's able to display nearly a weekly basis, and that we finally get to start watching again. It's going to be so much fun just to see this offense again. This team, we've waited this whole off season, and now we finally get to see it. And I want to close this with one of the more premium matchups that we get to see from this game. It's two soon-to-be Hall of Famers whenever they decide to retire from the game, J.J. Watt and Mitchell Schwartz. The first game, Watt was able to use some fake bull rush moves upfield to get inside of Mitchell Schwartz and kind of wreak havoc in the pocket. I think people forget that J.J. Watt was having a really exceptional year before he got hurt, and he's still an elite pass rusher when he's healthy. This isn't going to change just because he's got a few injuries over the last year. But a guy in Mitch Schwartz, who's the most prepared left or right tackle in the game, he's probably the most prepared tackle in the game, just to help him recover from some of those, abilities he doesn't have. It's incredible. And you're going to see this kind of before your eyes. It's so much fun to watch him work right there. Just watching him being able to do that is so much fun because it's a manipulation tactic that we don't get to see a lot of from Schwartz, just because he doesn't necessarily see a lot of elite guys in terms of that he hasn't prepared for. He's seen Von Miller a bunch of times. He's seen, Joey Bosa and Melvin Ingram a bunch. So it's just a little bit different seeing a guy like J.J. Watt, especially that you can tell in his first game. He had some issues dealing with the speed and athleticism that J.J. Watt provides at his size. Von Miller is a little bit smaller. He's not the big guy that J.J. Watt is. And you're going to see him use this faux hand technique. It's going to force J.J. Watt to begin to then use his hands. So what Mitchell Schwartz is doing is that he's using his hands to essentially instigate the hand fighting and the initiating a contact. And then he drops them down out of the way to allow him to get leverage on J.J. Watt, because he then lunges forward, attempting to create that contact and get the position over Schwartz, who was trying to get his hands on him. So the faux hand technique of getting his hands up and then swatting away or moving them away and then able to force J.J. Watt to lunge is what creates this. And even though he's able to, get his balance back, this creates just enough time for Mahomes to get the ball out of his hands down the field. Obviously, J.J. Watt's still an extremely talented pass rusher, and he's going to be able to get his balance and his leverage back. But you can see that lunge that I'm talking about is all he really needs, because now Mahomes can move up in the pocket and move around in different ways and still be able to get this ball out. Now, had he created contact earlier, I think J.J. Watt can probably use his strength to bull rush in and then maybe affect the pass a little bit more. But this just buys that little bit of extra time for Mahomes to get up in the pocket and throw this ball downfield to Watkins. Slight move up. We're not talking about huge steps. So it's just minuscule moments here and there that really pay off in the long run. And I think that Schwartz is there's a reason that he's the best right tackle in the NFL. He's so prepared, and he came into this game with that extra bye week studying J.J. Watt, and it shows in his performance. He just shut him down all game, and J.J. Watt was pretty much a non-factor in the divisional playoff game. And these are just a couple matchups I wanted to look at, and I think we're going to be seeing a little bit different techniques out of both J.J. Watt and Mitchell Schwartz. So it's going to be fun to watch that one. I think it'll be fun to watch Travis Kelce against his man coverage defense. We'll see if they try to switch some things up, use a little bit more zone, in which case if they do, Travis is still very good at finding those holes. And obviously we definitely need to pay attention to what Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to do in this offense. He's a rookie. They don't have any NFL tape on him. And I think that Andy Reid's going to use that to his advantage. So be sure to watch those three areas. And then if they're able to do anything with Travis Kelce, that immediately goes to Tyra Kill and Sammy Watkins. So Mahomes is going to be Mahomes, but I think that these individual matchups are what we want to look for the most going into this Thursday night game. I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited, and I hope you enjoyed this. Have a good night, guys.
Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football. Click these videos to see more and subscribe to RGR Football.